Today was hard, man. Today was hard. This video isn't really to have any direction, but really just to yap, just to talk, man. But yeah, today was hard, honestly. I think what led me to coming down here from the house and making a video was that because today was just so frustrating and annoying, it something just came into me to say, you know what? It's one of those moments where, life is going to be shit, life is going to be hard. Why not get something out of it and, make a video or create content, do something, man. Just do something towards your vision and where you're trying to get to, or where you plan to get to. And this was one of those moments, man. But today was hard, man. So I don't really do videos like this where we're like, oh, life update and all that kind of stuff. But this was one of those moments where I said, hey, man, let me just do a video. But for the past month and a half or 2 months, so I went to my dermatologist and I got this thing out of the back of my head. It was like a little bump, and didn't think nothing of it. I've gotten stuff like this removed before. I had one in my pinky, like right above here on my knuckle, and then I had one like on my wrist, and I got them removed a while back when I was a lot younger. And then I had one that came up on my head, on the back of my head, and it's been there for about 8 years, 9 years, almost a decade. And the reason it was in there for so long was because I was thinking it was the same thing as this, like just a bump. A cyst basically is what the medical term is or whatever. And I was just thinking it's just the same thing, man. And that's why I'd kept it in for so long. And I'd actually cut my hair around the time when I ended up getting this one out. And the funny thing is, when I went to cut my hair, I was telling my barber, just take off half. And the barber, my barber messes me up. So it was actually unintentional for my hair to go back down to like wavelength. So I had like a mini afro, and then my hair was cut down to like wavelength. So the bump that was there, I knew it was there for all this time. But the bump that was there was a lot easier to see. And someone had noticed it and, told me about it. Like, have you ever gotten that checked out? And of course, causing a little bit of concern or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, actually I did. It was funny. So not even funny, but it was about 2.5 years ago, I had gotten it checked out, and from my dermatologist, same thing. And she was saying, oh yeah, it's nothing to worry about. And from their perspective, it was just the same stuff that I had gotten removed twice already. So I was like, nah, no big deal. But when somebody was saying to me, this is something of concern, you should get it checked out, and then they say the same thing, I'm like, no big deal. And then it was more of like an impulsive decision after my hair is lower and I start, feeling it, and I'm like, I kind of do want to get this out, just out of an impulsive decision. So I move forward and get the thing out. This is one of those things too, where insurance really comes into play, because if you don't have, for any of those who know, if you don't have insurance, or if you don't have insurance, you gotta pay a big bill out of pocket. And it's crazy because with this thing, even with insurance, I still had to come out for about $800-900, which is crazy. And then they came back and actually fit me with another bill for another $500 after that. So I think the whole procedure, basically I ended up taking up about 80% of the procedure or whatever. And yeah, so insurance wasn't really messing with me on that. But from there, I got it taken out and moved the process forward. About a month later, about 4 weeks, the scar or whatever starts to heal, and I'm good. I get a phone call and they're telling me, oh, this is different from what it was before. The dermatologist that had called me was saying this is something she had never seen before. Long story short, this is it's still a cyst, like the thing I was getting removed, that I got removed before, but this one was one of those called a pilar cyst. So for those who don't know, basically this is something that is usually not of concern, but it within its nature, it can be of concern, and it can develop into something more dangerous, or if you remove it, it can come back and become basically cancerous and that kind of stuff. So, or a tumor or whatever. So now we're in the place where they're calling me and I'm hearing this real time. They're saying, yeah, you're gonna have to come back and we're gonna have to open back up the wound that just healed. We're gonna have to open it back up and we're gonna have to take out more tissue until we have, and then run more tests until it is at the conclusion that you're clear. You don't have any more issues. Basically, the cells from this thing that they removed was still present within my head area that they removed it. So until those cells are removed, the thing can continue to grow back, and if it grows back, there's a chance it could be worse than what it was that they just removed. So basically cancer or whatever. So in my head, I'm like, oh my gosh, bro. So I know where this is about to go. Anyways, from there, we say, you know what, go ahead and schedule it, and we set it up, and we actually get a second opinion just to make sure like this is the right thing we're doing from another dermatologist. But anyways, we went forward and moved forward with a procedure. And first day, I went there, was kind of chilled, wasn't expecting this to go for as long as it did. Ended up going, and we got the first piece cut out. They basically they open back the wound, they cut out a piece of your skin or your tissue, and then they put it into like a little thing to hold it, and then they send it to the lab for testing. And then if they look at that piece of skin or tissue or whatever, and it comes that they see there is still that pilar cyst, the cells, if they still see that it's present there, then you have to go back, open back up the wound again, and basically do the whole process. It's like a repeating cycle until the tests come back negative. So for anybody who's done anything like this or anything similar, whether it's, you know, having to go to the doctor repeatedly for something, whether it's something more serious or less serious or about the same, it gets really frustrating really fast, especially when it's something where, you know, you have an open wound or whatever, and, you know, you just got to deal with it, you know. And it's tough, man. It's tough. I've had moments of, you know, going through, you know, a lot of pain or a lot of frustration, and just, you know, whether it's betrayal or whatever different stuff. But going through something like this, it opens your eyes and gives you an understanding of what some other people have to go through, and just, you know, dealing with stuff like this. And like I said before, from the very beginning, this video really doesn't have any real direction, and I'm really just speaking my thoughts here. But the frustration and annoyance is through the roof, man. I feel like it's just all over the place, because there's a lot of other factors that affect what's going on outside of this, because I'm also working like, you know, a cybersecurity role, and then I'm also managing a business at the same time, and then, you know, basically life stuff. You have other life things that are going on, other responsibilities that are going on outside of this. So this right now is one of those things that are taking up your time. And although I've always, you know, never experienced something to maybe this I wouldn't say to this extent. Although I've never experienced something like this exactly, I've always had, you know, that empathy, or at least trying to put myself in the shoes of somebody who has trying to put myself in the shoes of somebody who has to go through stuff like this, because it really just messes you up in a way where you don't know what the hell is gonna happen, right? And then you gotta sit here each night figuring out what is gonna happen the next day. You're basically in pain. So one of the things that I guess I don't know, some people could call it stubborn, some people could say whatever they want to, but I don't like to take painkillers unless the pain is just unbearable, where it's like, bro, I'm damn near about to shed a tear or something. Like, the pain is just unbearable. And I'm one of those people, I guess, that just likes to, you know, deal with it. This may be going off on a tangent now, but I don't drink, I don't do any drugs, any of that stuff. I've tried it, never got into any of that stuff. Back in high school, never got into that stuff. So I'm one of those people that I like to consider myself as just to live in the moment and feel whatever the hell it is that's going on. And this is one of those things. It's the same thing with yeah, I mean that's really what it is. I mean, if you go to the doctor, of course, and you need to get numbed, I'm not oh yeah, don't numb me, just just do whatever you need to. No, not that's extreme. But I'm saying things like where you're gonna feel pain after a surgery. Make sure you take some painkillers or whatever. Look, I'm not taking a painkiller unless the pain is just unbearable. But yeah, I like to consider myself one of those people. And feeling this stuff, man, sometimes it's really just annoying, man. Honestly, even if I did take, because some people, I guess, could say, maybe the frustration is coming from you just being in pain. Possibly, I don't know. I mean, I could take a painkiller, and then who knows? I would still be frustrated because I'm still dealing with whatever this situation is. I'm still gonna have to go back, and they're gonna have to open the wound back up, and they're gonna have to do their stuff. And again, that was another thing too. I didn't even bring it up. It's being frustrated and not really knowing what to be frustrated at. I think that's where I'm getting at here too, because you can't blame yourself. Not necessarily, because it's your body, right? It's something that's not very common. So you getting mad at your body is at that point is basically self-hate. You're hating on yourself for something you can't really control to this extent, right? So you can't get mad at yourself. You can't get mad at the doctors, right? They're there to help you, and whatever their process is, you gotta trust them on it. You can't get mad at them. So who are you frustrated? You're just frustrated at the situation. You're annoyed. You're pissed off that you're basically in a situation where you're helpless. And I've had plenty of times where, you're in situations, well, we've all had, right? Where you've had moments or situations where you basically, it can't be helped. You can't control it. Something happens to you and it's outside of your control. And it's just one of those things that it's hard, man. It's really hard. It's really hard, man. And also just thinking about the fact that, there's going to be a scar much bigger than the one before. So that's going to be, a completely different conversation. That's going to be a completely different thing to deal with. And then I'm sure everybody looking at the video can kind of guess where the hell this thing is. I already said it too. So that's another thing to consider, right? I mean, for anybody who's gone through some stuff like this, the what comes with it, right? Especially if you're opening a wound, you're doing tests, closing the wound, not stitching it up for it to heal, but closing the wound and then opening it back up, reopening it, closing it. All that's doing is making the healing process afterwards much more complicated, possibly for your for your body, right? Because the moment something happens, your body's instantly moving into that process of healing and trying its best to get yourself back to normal. So it's just a process, man. I think that's what it is. Honestly, that's just frustrating because this is really the best thing that you can do, and at this point you're saying, I mean, what would you rather do? Just close it back up and keep whatever is there and possibly risk something worse happening in the future? Who knows? But part of me too, man. Part of me too, and this may be the wrong thing to say, but part of me too just says, man, I regret. Part of me is just saying I regret even going to open this taking this thing out, because I had it for damn near a decade and it wasn't doing nothing to me that I knew of. And if they were looking at it from externally, they didn't see anything wrong with it either. And it wasn't growing in size. It wasn't, bothering me if I poked it or whatever, if I got, tapped on it. It wasn't bothering me anyway. And then we take it out and we find out it's this. But part of me, honestly, if I'm being 100% transparent, regrets taking it out at the time that I did at this stage in this season in my life right now with how this stuff is kind of getting in the way of certain things. But at the same time, you know, again, we come back to the point of it's life. At the end of the day, over everything, I'm alive. Things are sucking right now, to say the least, but we move forward. We do things that we know we need to do, and it's almost like saying, you know, screw you to life. Not life, just screw you to the situation. Like shooting this video. Like, I can't really work out right now. A lot of times if I'm pissed off, or if, you know, emotions are just all over the place and I just don't feel, I feel frustrated, whatever the case. A lot of times I would work out. Can't do that right now. So I kind of have this frustration. I don't know what else to really do outside of, you know, shoot content, work on my business, or work on, you know, whether it is skill sets, whatever it is, man, that doesn't require physical movement, since I can't do that. So doing those things is almost like saying screw you to the situation, or fuck you to the situation, and really just saying to yourself, saying to the situation, I am, whatever the world or whatever is thrown at me, I can overcome that, no matter the case. You know, it doesn't matter. You have to kill me before I, because at that point I can't do anything. So whatever the situation is, I get through it. So, like I said, man, this video really doesn't have any real direction. Just me speaking from my off the head here. That is frustrating. I'm real frustrated. This is not something new, but a new angle, I would say, that I'm being hit with a situation where it's really frustrating, man, to the point where I said, let me do a video and put this online. No, it's very likely with this channel being new and where I'm putting this up on, that this is really gonna be seen by anyone right now. But at the end of the day, this is me speaking about this and talking, man, because really that's all I can do outside of creating, you know, go drawing a character or writing music or looking at something in cybersecurity or something, man, something, or, you know, coming up with new ideas to grow the overall business and brand. So yeah, as of right now, or world building or comic stuff, all that kind of stuff. As of right now, this was my way of getting out my thoughts. And yeah, there really isn't much else to say. So yeah, I would say for this channel though, this is gonna be, right now it's called KF Vlogs, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna change that to KF Raw or something, pause or something. I don't know what I'm gonna change it to, but it's gonna be a mix of vlogs and the videos like this, I think, where I can just talk and do stuff of that nature. So yeah, I mean, that's where we are right now. I think if I was to put a message onto this video, a lot of times we go through stuff, and you know, sometimes it's being in a situation right now where it really just sucks. I can say fully that sometimes you just gotta say screw you to whatever that situation is and keep going. Whatever it is that, you know, puts your heart on fire. The slogan and the motto of, I don't even know if motto is a word, but the slogan of what my business is, KF22, and you know, my artist name or whatever is ambitious behavior. So that's what I always try to live by and move forward with, and you know, spread as far as messaging goes, and you know, as far as motivational mindset content. So whatever your situation, man, sometimes you just gotta say, a lot of times, and most times if you can, to just say screw you to the situation and just move forward. Do whatever it is that you can to fight back or whatever this stuff is, because I don't know how long this stuff is going to last. I was talking to the surgeon dermatologist, and she was saying the longest she's had to do this stuff is, you know, 3 weeks, 2-3 weeks. So we on day 3 right now, going back tomorrow. Hopefully they say that this is the end of it and we can finally get this thing stitched up and I can, you know, heal from this stuff, because it's even affecting like your sleep too, because you can't even sleep a certain angle because if you sleep a certain angle, then you know the whole thing falls off. You could risk, you know, the wound getting affected. There's so many different stuff, bro. And just thinking about it gets me frustrated. But yeah, man, at the end of the day, whatever situation is that you're faced with, if you can move, man, you can fight back in any way, shape, or form. And even if you can't move, your mindset is still something that you have. You have this. So fight, man, fight. Keep going, and at some point, something has to give. At some point, something has to change. And that's really what I'm fighting with right now, and reminding myself that I have to do, especially in an annoying ass situation like this right here. I know there's a million videos out here that have said the same thing, but let me go ahead and add to that. And to whoever this helps, if anyone, it helps. And yeah, either way, you know, this is something I could in the future look back to as well, and you know, remind myself if I get in a tricky or annoying situation. So yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the video, man.